Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design. Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design.
Hey, what's up with my Boerboel family? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. What's going on? Welcome to the Boerboel Show, where we promote the beautiful African Boerboel breed, the powerful, the athletic African Boerboel breed, where we inspire new and old breeders to greatness and their highest success. We discussed the politics related to the South African Boerboel breed, a very controversial breed in politics. And we want to lead and support the next generation through applying science-backed breeding practices. I'm your host, Dr. J, the Boerboel Man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. What's going on with everybody? Today we got a very special episode. We're going to be discussing quite a few different things. We're going to start off with how the pandemic affected the breed, how the current state of the breed. It's a lot of politics occurring, one way or the other, people picking sides. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the way that the pandemic affects the state of the dog, the Boerboels at this time. We're going to help people get prepared for their puppies. We realize that due to the pandemic, it was an explosion of puppy sales back in 2020. And this is documented. I'm not making this up. A lot of people went and bought dogs. They was at home, due to the situation, the way that everything was at that time. A lot of dogs was bought, a lot of dogs was sold. A lot of people have made plans. They decide, okay, it's a perfect time. What's up with my bro? How you doing today? Cold day. We got to get busy. It's very serious. Playtime is over, family. Playtime is over. So we're going to discuss that, how the pandemic could affect. But first, got to give our peace to our people that's been working hard. We're going to celebrate this. How did I do this? There we go. Check them out, y'all. Exotic Shaka. Again, showing out. Took the cake. He's going to be the most celebrated Boerboel this week. Look at him, all 4 feet off the ground. Showing off that athleticism at 8 months old, 150 pounds. That's what we want to see, y'all. So we're going to give a shout out to his owner, my bro, Reggie. Appreciate all of the content. Shot us a ton of footage and pictures. And very impressed with your work. So in our reward system, you took the title for this week. Gonna put you on the shelf. You're not gonna be able to compete next week. We're looking for somebody else. And then at the end of the month, we're gonna have the dog of the month. We're gonna announce the dog of the month. So Boerboel family, exotic Boerboel family, please send in your pictures and videos so we can share this with the world. Put it on record. All of your hard work, all of the things that you're doing with your dogs. We want to champion you. We appreciate your work, and we think that it needs to be celebrated. We want to show off these beautiful dogs. And for our rewards program, You can go for, it doesn't have to be, it's not limited to the exotic Boerboel family either. But naturally, we do kind of favor exotic Boerboel family. So let's get into our lesson for today, because we don't really, not to, we don't want to get too far off a subject. We want to keep it on subject. So due to the state of the breed with the, what's up, family? What we had, and it's documented, an explosion of dog sales, and it was due to the pandemic. A lot of people was at home. A lot of people, this breed is very captivating and popular. And due to the situation, due to the state of the breed, you know, due to the fact that it's on a national platform nowadays, a lot of people been waiting on their chance to get the dogs. So now we have an explosion of dog breeders, not just in the Boerboel breed, many dog breeders. Fast forward 2 years later, we got a lot of puppies on the way. We got a lot of puppies in the air. It doesn't take long for the dogs to multiply and reproduce. And then as a result, you see a lot of new breeders coming up strong, a lot of new people getting involved with the breed. And then as a result of that, you got a lot of people trying to say, oh, you did this, or they're trying to actually, what is a good way to say it, force their ideals on the general population. And they have already been believing in their way, right? And they feel like, oh, this is the way, it's the only way to work. My way is the only way to work. But with dogs, it's not like that. There's a lot of ways to work. We didn't just get here with one dominating school of thought or practice. It's a lot of different applied principles due to the different geographies or locations, depending on where people are located, how they apply their practices with breeding. The end result is people have these dogs and they love them, right? A lot of and they're excited to share. And what do most people do? Run to social media and they're eager to participate. Finally got their dogs of age. I see a lot of people advertising or seeking out stud services, or where can I find stud services, or where are the dogs at my female, either advertising their female for males or advertising their males for females. A lot of young dogs, right? The African Boerboel is highly contested. It's so precious to so many people because they are really a beautiful dog that has so many desirable traits and characteristics. They're big like a Mastiff, and they're powerful like a Bulldog. They got this defensive nature. All the things that we love about them, that's what people tend to love about, and they're beautiful. So naturally, when we have something that we love and care about, we'll want to protect it. And that's where I believe the passion in it and that's where the infighting is coming at, because people love these dogs. People have been misled to believe in this system of producing this African Boerboels. And I think that it's flawed because the results, or is not being applied prime example is not being applied correctly. Prime example is with the health testing. A lot of people want to say that only health tested dogs should be bred, and I'm not one to tend to disagree. Health testing is important, but the problem is the way that they are utilizing it as a tool. There is no guarantees with the dog breedings. What you can do is decrease the likelihood or the chances that you're going to produce a dog that is sick or going to have a defects or going to have inherited illnesses that are already known defects. The problem is when you have two dogs that are related within a breed, all the dogs in the breed are related. That is the nature of a breed. It means within the family. And as our breed continues to evolve, we're going to see more genetic issues. There are a few already to date associated with the South African Boerboel breed. And every breed of dogs has issues associated with it. That's just the way that it is because of the way that we are breeding dogs. The more that the dogs become uniform in their look and their consistency in their litters, the more we're going to see certain percentage of the dogs become affected by health issues. Because what happens is, as the dogs get more uniform, when we're locking in this homozygous chromosomes, we are also locking in unknown genetic defects. And when it happens, as they continue to breed and they become more homozygous, they become expressed as genetic defects. What's up with Neutral? We're keeping it G, man, 100,000 toes down. But this is why it's important to understand and do your research and do the science, do the study. You have to study if you want to be successful with the dog breeding. We want to dispel myths, right? The myth is that there are guarantees against having a dog come with a defect. You see him? He's 6'2", and the dog is off his 4 feet. What's up, Reggie? So because of these defects, so we're seeing a lot of people that's saying this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, because they feel as health tested equals good, free of genetic possibilities of having a dog that can suffer. And we see that, and I'm not going to sit up here and try to pat myself on the back and act like it couldn't happen to me. It can happen to anybody that's breeding dogs, because now how you deal with it is what makes you a good breeder or not. But I'm not going to sit up and act like it can't happen. And I'm sure that most 99, people are producing dogs, are trying to produce healthy dogs, especially breeders that's using the health testing. I applaud you. But that does not necessarily make your dog better than the next dog. And I think that it's wrong to exclude a dog because the parents hadn't been health tested. I think that's wrong. What's wrong with the organization? People want to pick a side and want to say, well, mine's is better because or this or that. And whatever works for you and your program, that's what you should run with. Me, I feel like the key is going to be performance evaluation. That's the only way that we're going to maintain the characteristics that the breeders felt was valuable throughout history. We have to come up with some performance evaluation. I like to run the dogs a certain distance in a certain amount of time, and then I like to increase that distance. This is just my thing that I have been doing for years, and it works. It's proven. Those traits become passed down to the next generation. It's inherited in the DNA. Certain dogs will have it, other dogs will not. And I feel like it's unfair to try to evaluate the Boerboel like we do a police dog or like we do a traditional guard dog, because the dog is very different. These are my thoughts. This is my program. This is how I do things. And every program should have some direction. Every program should have a goal. My goal, just as an example, is to produce a beautiful dog that is capable, intelligent, powerful, and again, beautiful. How do I like athleticism? In my opinion, athleticism influences the physique, the overall appearance. It makes the dog look, an athletic dog, to me, in my personal opinion, looks better or looks fundamentally different than a dog that's not. So I like the athletic dog. So I try to apply that to my breeding program, and I try to put a better emphasis on the dogs that are more athletic. This is just as an example, exotic Boerboel family, how we are having dogs that seem to be a little bit more active, a little bit more intelligent, because we are focused on maintaining those characteristics. They're important to us. The dog's temperament is balanced because of the parents and the lineage. And then we are testing it out to determine, does this dog have what we deem important to pass on to the next generation? We've been doing this for years, and it works for us. So I mentioned that as a example for the young and up and coming, the next generation of breeders, and even the old breeders that have been doing this. You have to have some form of measurement. You have to have some form of breeding criteria, and every new owner should understand what they want in their dog, and if the breeder has that, or if they're working towards maintaining that. So it's unfortunate that people try to make dogs together without any other intention of other than producing more puppies. I think that's just a fundamental flaw. That's maybe why some people get upset. So I'm just letting people know, if you want to have success, you got to have a goal. You got to have a direction, or you have to be breeding towards an end result. How do we plan on improving? What do we see that's wrong? You have to be objective. What do we want to improve within the next generation? And these is good questions that you can ask if you're a new owner. So with this new wave of breeders, I want to inspire you. I want to help you do your best to produce the best. And then you will be able to recover your costs or expenses possibly put a couple of dollars in your pocket. Excuse me. And I see a lot of this venom being spewed, this vitriol, and I want to encourage you as a new breeder to continue with a goal in mind. Do not let them deter you. It's the same thing that happened. It's time and time again. You can change the breed or change the name. You got people that's already established and they don't want to see other people included. And I think that that's a fundamental flaw, because at the end of the day, it's about bettering the dogs. And we would like to include different families of dogs and bring them together in order to have the best dogs, and to keep our dogs producing. So let's talk a little bit about preparing for your whelping. It's going to be a lot of people having puppies, and I want to see everyone have success. I want to inspire the new litter of breeding, the next generation of breeders. I want to give y'all some very valuable information. This is a practice that I employ that's proven. It works. It's time stood the test of time. Like I said, many breeders, I've seen them come and go. This is not going to work out well with our standard model of breeding in the United States, the way that we care for a lot of dogs, where they're when they're caged up in kennels. I'm not knocking nobody with kennels. They are temporary housing solutions. That's what they are, temporary housing solutions, not permanent. With an intelligent dog breed, be it the Malinois, the Boerboel, any Mastiff, Connie Corso, whatever you have, name it, whatever you name, working breeds, guardian style breeds, these dogs need exercise. So once your dog gets pregnant, we want to be prepared to keep the dog stress-free. And this is how I do it. Starts with regular attention, love, and care. We want to set the dogs up in a place that they can be comfortable. And what we want to do is mimic the natural sequence of events. So in the wild, a wolf, once she gets pregnant, she'll start to venture off and separate herself from the rest of the pack. She'll start to try to find a place that's suitable for her to nest. The rest of the pack will continue to go on. This tend to happen closer to the time that she's whelping. And this has been studied because, they put collars on wolf packs and they have monitored to see who's breeding. And then usually it's only one female dog that does all of the breeding per pack. And they see she'll separate herself. So we want to mimic this natural behavior. We want to set up a place, a den that is quiet, clean, dry, stress-free habitat. We want the dog to feel protected. And that's why you see behind me, we have our place that is suited for one dog. Feeney's in there now because we're expecting puppies from Balto. It's a clean, quiet environment. She's very comfortable. It doesn't have a whole lot of padding and pillows and stuff, because what the dogs tend to do, they want to make it comfortable. They want to make it where, this is like a den, and they might tend to remodel. And this is how I do prepare. Not something that I just made up off the top of my head. But it is a a tried and proven practice. I also study the book. You can go check it out. The Art of Raising Puppies. Shout out to Scott and Tracy recommending the book. But I like to have the dogs in a really comfortable environment, and I want to limit closer as they get closer to the time to whelping. I want to limit their activity, trying to replicate, the natural process. So for the first 4 to 5 weeks, there's not going to be much of a noticeable change until the dog gets about, I say, 35 days in. Then you'll see physically characteristics start to change. You'll start to see the bulbs around the teeth start to swell. The belly, the abdomen is going to begin to swell. And, you'll start to see visual signs of the pregnancy. With the next, but prior to that, you might not see, she might even decrease the appetite. So it's not going to be many noticeable changes, but that is a sign that she's pregnant. She's not eating less. I don't care how much you try to sweeten up the pot or sweeten up the meal. She seems disinterested. My advice to you is to keep it consistent, because you want to make sure that the dog is getting consistent nutrition. So I don't do like a bunch of dietary changes or supplements to try to boost up the diet. I'm not trying to increase. Main thing is consistency is everything with these dogs. Regular walks at a regular time, regular feedings at a regular time. She may have a decreased appetite. That's perfectly fine. We're not going to try to sweeten the pot or encourage the dog to eat any more. We're just going to make sure that it's available. She is going to eat what she wants, especially when you're meeting those other needs that the dog has to have met, like diet and exercise and attention and care. You may notice a slight discharge, and that's nothing to be alarmed of. That's perfectly fine. That tends to happen from the male bacteria, that he may have in his sex organs. That's perfectly fine. And it's good that the dog is discharging that, because if it's not discharging that, and this is what happens with a false pregnancy, this is why it's important to breed your dog early and often, according to Dr. Hutchinson, the leading canine researcher for reproduction. It's important to breed the dog early and often, because what happens is this bacteria will build up, and it is in the lining of the uterus. It causes the lining of the uterus to decay. During a normal pregnancy, this uterus lining is healed, it's repaired, and it's given a chance to expel all of this harmful bacteria. So that's what I attribute to this discharge. It's just part of the normal thing. It's nothing to be alarmed about. So, excuse me. Dog man is tired. I get up early in the morning, and I've been thinking about y'all all day, and I've been preparing for y'all. So pardon my yawn. As we get closer to the day, we're going to see, once we hit 5 weeks, that's that pivotal time period where we're going to notice uptick in appetite. You hear Afeni back there, she's asleep. Big noticeable difference in her amount of energy. So we bred a Feeney on 320. We roughly 30 days in. We're seeing strong indications of the dog being pregnant. So what I try to do is sometimes they can get moody. I had a situation the other day where a Feeney was she got challenged by Pancake. So this is common. We have these disputes when the dogs try to establish, especially a younger dog that's reaching maturity. A Feeney is she's bigger, she's stronger, and the other dogs want to make her bow down. Pancake is a resident boss around here, has been held that title for for a long time. She's the oldest daughter of Coda, and she's been throwing her weight around for some time. Due to the natural evolution of things, that is short-lived. And that's why a true authority has people that want to follow, not by force. You're not a leader if you take a baseball bat and busting people upside the head and saying, follow me, and they don't have a choice but to follow you. And that's kind of the way that the dogs rule. I hate to use that as a brutal example of violence, but it's an iron fist leadership. And what tends to happen is the younger dogs they say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of getting beat up. I'm big now. If anybody gonna be beating anybody, it's gonna be me. It's important for you as a dog owner and a breeder to recognize that this situation can happen and address it when it happens. So a Feeney went outside to eat some chicken. Pancake had already claimed the chicken as hers. She would do that. I mean, she can get very moody. Long story short, keep the dog separated. Do not allow them, they can get moody. Excuse me. They can get moody. And what they'll do is attack one another. They can say, you know what? Not today. And that's why it's important to keep your dogs exercise where they don't have all of this built up energy. So we don't do much more in the form of exercise because we're not able to take the dogs the entire distance. So we keep it moderate. Feeney went outside. She's going to claim the chicken. Pancake had already claimed. And I'm have to break up 240 plus pound dogs from fighting. And you want to do that quick. You need to keep yourself calm. Do not jump in there. And try to grab the dog by the collar. You see all of our dogs got collars. Do not put your hand in there trying to grab the dog by the collar and the other dog is steady, taking shots. You have to get a stick. This is what I do. It's inevitable. If you have a pack, you need to be prepared for this because it's going to happen with these dominant dogs. Eventually one will say, unless you have clearly established pack where certain dogs stronger than others, it's a matter of time though. In my experience, it's just a matter of time before one of the younger dogs challenges one of the older dogs. If the older dog doesn't submit, then we're going to have a conflict. Be prepared to break it up. And it's not going to be easy because these dogs are intense. They're strong. They're powerful. They get into it. You got a serious situation. What do you do? Me personally, I'm going to tell you straight up. This is my secret. It may sound brutal. I'm not advocating for no dog abuse. I'm not an advocate of dog abuse. It's only to protect and save another dog from injuring the other dog. You got to break them up. I got sticks around and I'm cracking upside the head. I'm sorry. It was a little, I don't know how I got on that subject, but I was saying keep the dog separated from the other dogs just to keep down the chances of that happening. I had a situation before when I was much younger, early in the career, where I had Connie Corsos at the time. Greet was my imported dog. Show her a lot of favor. Dogs have a sense of fairness. And the other dogs picked up on that. The other dogs picked up on pardon me. So they end up splitting her. They end up double teaming her. They didn't like the fact that I was showing her favor. She was my imported female. I had a lot of expectations for her. And my kind of Corsos was like, who is this chick? Why is dad on her? She's not that tough, y'all. And I wasn't prepared. And these dogs would just regularly jump on my girl Greet. And you could see, she had to have tubes in the same way that Remy has those tubes inserted in her. It's a difficult thing to deal with, and it's just part of the breed. They're dominant dogs. One of the things that attracted me to the dogs, it reminds me of myself a lot. I'm very competitive. I got a strong desire, a will to win, and I like to stay in shape. Consider myself to be a little intelligent, and so I see a lot of myself in the dogs. With that being said, I have to monitor my responses. Lately, there's a lot of controversy going on within the breed. I'm going to take myself and I'm going to make sure that all my responses is in terms of advancing exotic Boerboel family. I realize that haters are going to be very upset with the success of exotic Boerboel family because we love our dogs, we dedicate it. They've been misled to believe that their dogs are better, and then here we keep coming with these dogs that are amazing, like Shaka, like Mako, and I can go down the list. We're going to keep on. Exotic Boerboel family, they are against us. Today, early this morning, they had disabled the Boerboel USA Boerboel Puppies Litters group. It's been disabled. And I kind of expected it. I knew it was going to happen because they don't want people to have success selling dogs. And I'm prepared for that. I'm fine with that. I knew that there was a chance that could happen. So let me be an example to all of the breeders, to all the up and coming Boerboel breeders that are using these platforms, social media platforms that are not in your control. The problem with that is they can disable those accounts. Excuse me. Dogman need rest. But what happens is with Facebook, Instagram, you choose it, you name it. It's not under your control. And then you can invest hundreds, people invest thousands to have success on Instagram and Facebook. And then you only to have your account disabled. Website is key. I took that as a sign. I'm going to take it on the chin. to do more, focusing on my website, what's under my control. Thank you guys for hating on it was really for our exotic Boerboel family, but don't worry, y'all, I got us. I'm going to set it up on my website, I promise you, where they can't disable, or they're not going to be able to disable my website. It stood the test of time. Y'all can send y'all pictures in, announcements, breeder litters. We're going to figure out a way to be inclusive and link up what we got going on with what you got going on. And we're going to rise to the top, exotic Boerboel family. We're going to rise to the top. We're going to continue to put pressure on the standards of the breed for the mediocrity. We not accept the mediocrity. And we're going to continue to work hard. That's one of the other things that drew me to the breed. It's a working dog. I'm a working dog also. If I was going to be any kind of dog, I'm going to be a working dog. I like to work hard. The Boerboel is capable of working hard. And I think that if we don't test for that, we're going to lose it. I find a lot of myself in the Boerboel. I see a lot of myself in the Boerboel. It's what my particular exotic Boerboel lines. I'm loving to my family. I'm a defender of my family. That's what you can expect, exotic Boerboel family. A dog just like us. That's what's important to you. So let's get into the comments. With that being said, I'm glad to hang out with y'all. If anybody got questions, now is a good time to answer. Ask them. I got the answers. Yes, he is, Richie. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Salute. What's up, Quincy? Yes, thank you for watching Love Eternal. Appreciate that message. My main man. What's up, Kurt? Oh, snap. They stupid athletic, y'all. Good question. Yeah, I think it's important to maintain. Okay, I'm going to get to that, Marvin. 1 second. What if your female won't allow the male to mount? When the time is appropriate, she's going to accept the male. So traditional school of thought is 13 days. You know, the dog, start to introduce the dogs at that time. Science has proven that that can be hit or miss. So when that day comes, though, so remember, the male dog, a young, inexperienced male dog that doesn't know exactly what he's got going on, when is the proper time to breed, he might start to try to mount early. And if she's not ready, she's not going to be accepting to the male. Don't be alarmed. That doesn't mean run to the clinic and try to get some. What's up, Scale? We're not looking to we want to let nature take its course. My advice to you is continue to walk the female and let's try to simulate that natural process, the natural courting process. Take the dog for long walks with the female in front. Let her lead the way. It's a safe time for you. Like, I don't know the laws depending on your neighborhood and whether it's required for the dog to be on leash. I like to take put the female on leash, and then if the police pull up, I got a visible leash on the male. He's not going anywhere because the female is close by. He's very intent on that. That's his, I mean, it drives a young stud dog crazy, those smells. They've never smelt anything as sweet as that smell. And you remember that his nostril is very sensitive to the different smells. He can pick up on a female in heat up to 3 miles away. So remember that this is going to drive this natural instinct, this behavior, and you're going to take the dog. That's why I like to use this running as a practice. It's very important because what it does is it gives the female a chance to kind of take a look at the male and his performance. And in the wild, if you're ever familiar with stray dogs, you'll see 10, 15 dogs running behind one female, right? And throughout this process, the strong is gonna rise. Anytime another dog get close to that female, he gonna battle it out and make those other dogs really putting on the show for the mom to let her know, I am the man that you want. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else. I'm claiming you as my own, and I don't care what you say. Nobody else got rights to you because I'm beating them up. That's the natural process. So let's recreate that natural process by taking the female. It's a great way to condition your male. Females tend to be lighter and more capable of doing extreme distances. Take your female and let that be an opportunity to condition your male. Remember, you need that relentless drive. You want him to get up there and you want him to be putting pressure. You don't want him to get tired. You don't want him to give up. So you do this, you got roughly 10 days. You got 10 days to, before she may be accepted, depending on the female, depending on when you catch it. And I use this as an opportunity to really, a male dog is he's going to pull a truck. He'll pull off a heist. He'll pull a car to try to get to that female. A good stud dog is going to be driven. And it's an opportunity for you to exercise. What better lure than a female in heat? I don't think there is one. So eventually she's going to weaken. She's going to melt to that. Female dogs have desires also. She's going to become tolerant if you have the dog set up in an appropriate situation. We're not talking about dogs locked down in a penitentiary 23-hour style breeding operation. Those dogs lack social instinct and they might be nutty to breed. But even it's rare that you come across a female that will not accept the male when she's in full estrus. So with that being said, just be patient. Eventually, the time is going to come. She's going to be ready. She's going to wear down and she's going to give it up. Just like a woman that's interested in a man. She may play hard to get in the beginning to see how bad you want it, to see how deserving that you are. And you just don't give up. Continue to press. Should smaller breeders start out, try to reduce the amount of dogs they have so that we don't have the fighting? Right, say it. I think it's important for especially a breeder that's starting out, to keep it manageable. You want to keep your dogs really stress-free. And the best way to accomplish that is by having, excuse me, I can't help that, y'all. I can't help it. I keep yawning. Well, I gotta listen to my body. I think that it's important for a smaller breeder with the Boerboels to keep your numbers manageable. I don't recommend more than 3 females ever. Excuse me, for any reason at all. 3 dogs is a lot to manage, especially for a smaller breeder. I'm not talking about a big breeder with tons of space and you got help. I really just don't agree with large scale. I don't think that it's necessary. I think that it's just hard to keep up with that many dogs if you're not able to meet the dog's needs physically and psychologically. Then I don't agree with having many numbers of dogs. And so I think that it's a quality. Start off with hold on. I'm gonna have to call you back, Bayshawn. All right. It's important to keep emphasis on. I'm gonna turn that off. I don't know how to do that right now. I'm not gonna take that time, but it's important to focus on small quality. You don't have to have a bunch of dogs to produce a champion or to produce a beautiful dog. You want to keep it where you can manage the dog that you have. You can meet all of their needs and keep the dog low stress. And if you I feel like more than 4 dogs, 3 dogs is a lot just for me because of what I like to do with the dogs. I like to take the dogs and exercise them. I think that's very important for my health, for my mental health. I don't know if I've shared this with y'all, but I have mental health issues. So they say. I'm what's called a hypomanic. I'm always happy. And it's a form of bipolarism. Dogs are great for people. So I don't go out and hang out with people because I act like a wild Boerboel sometimes. And if I feel attacked, I go to 100,000 because I'm a nice guy and I give people a chance. And it's like if you throw, and this is something that it's just part of my nature. If you throw a rock at me, I will go get a rocket launcher. And I'll fire your car up. I'll fire it up with 100 rocket launchers, shots, shells. I'm still working on me, y'all. Boerboels help. Boerboels is great for me. Every situation don't require a rocket launcher. I'm still learning that, y'all. And it gets me in trouble sometimes. I hope that yes, sir, Scale. They help me so much because I would be feeling alone without them. And one thing that I do know is my dogs are always going to be there for me. They're going to be waiting for me. It's unfortunate our children grow up and they leave the nest and they don't be as interested in what their parents have going on. But the dogs is always happy to see us. The dogs is always excited. And I love coming home for my dogs. And that's how I am about people that I love also. I'm always happy to see you. I'm like a dog. Or maybe it's because I've always that close association with the dogs. I pick up on them and they pick up on me. Maybe we rubbing off on each other. but it definitely is one of the benefits. I feel like small breeders, emphasis, you can compete with the best of them. Let me tell you, I've seen this happen a lot of times. People with a big bankroll will go get 6, 7 puppies, right? They setting up for volume. They chasing that bag. They're spending, they ain't no telling what they spent on those dogs. And they feel like that's not how this works. It's not like chips or pop or candy where you just go keep buying and re-up, dump the product, and then get you some more. That's not how this works. In my experience, you only have to have 1, 2 high quality dogs, research, and make those 2 dogs you can put in a ton of work and they'll look better. They'll reach their fullest potential and you can compete with a breeder that's got 30 dogs, 100 dogs with 2. So I feel like it give you a chance to put an emphasis on quality. I'm real big into quality. I don't have a whole lot of stuff, but what I do have, I want it to last. I like quality. I'm into quality. So this is the way I was taught. Buy the best that you can afford. And then pay for what you want. I'll save my money because I pay for what I want, and I don't want nothing less than what I want. I'm not going to settle for anything less than what I want. And you should be that way too. Hold yourself to a standard. Don't just settle. With that being said, you can compete, you can win. Let's move on. So then it's better to have 1 male and 1 female to make it less complicated. I feel that, now this is my mentor, this is his counsel, and this definitely works. You don't have to have a male. You can produce your own male. You can have 2 females. Can y'all hear that music? Let me turn this down. So my practice is seek out the best males in the country that I believe fit my goal of producing a better generation than the previous generation. Build relationships with those breeders. Bagheera is the perfect example. I drove to Nebraska from Cleveland several times on several occasions because I felt that dog was worth it. One of the better dogs that I had seen. He's athletic, got the big head, and he made it happen for us. We bred him to Remy, we bred him to Pancake, and we got a breeding coming up. Haven't decided which dog we want to use on him, and it's not just his physical characteristics that we sought. We look at the pedigree is very diverse. Not particularly, he's not bred on one particular dog. It's not a whole lot of repeating of the same names. And then you go and use that dog, you're going to have to pay. You got to understand that this is coming up and this is what you want to do. You need to save your bucks. Don't, because it's the only way to make it work. To guarantee people want to move. That mighty dollar makes people move. And you got to have that money. You know that it's coming. You want to be respected in your dog game. Don't come try to work a deals with somebody's stud dog and you plan on making 7, 9, 12 puppies. So that's my practice. Go find the best males in the country, breed to those dogs, produce your own male, establish your champion campaign, your own male. It's then when you breed to that male that produces, like, perfect example, Exotics Mondo, Exotics Balto. Those dogs are my dogs. And I'm able to say, I bred those dogs. We created those dogs. And because of that, I'm happy to campaign those dogs because they fall under my name. When you go get another person's male dog, you're actually promoting that family of dogs if you're doing it the right way. I see people take the breeder's name off. Like, for example, that dog is Exotics Shaka Zulu. People would take that off and put Clarence's Shaka Zulu. That's dead wrong and it's deceptive. Leads the experienced breeder to know that, leads people to believe that you're responsible for this production. And that's fundamentally wrong. People put in, a lot of work into their breedings and they should get the credit. Don't take off the breeder's kennel family name. Next question. What's up, James? That's Mako's daddy. That's Mako's daddy holding it down as always. Representing and supporting. We here for you. What up, Scale? Salute. Can't wait to meet you one day. That's right. Boerboels are very therapeutic and healing. I don't know where I would be without them. So, y'all, wow, we done did an hour that quick. I love it. I really appreciate y'all for joining. Taking more questions. If anybody has questions, we can post them now. I want to let people know a couple things about the direction of the Exotic Boerboel program. I'm going to embrace my role as a leader more. And with that being said, I'm going to be very choosy with the battles that I fight. I see the haters coming out the woodwork. I'm not even going to continue to go back and forth with them. Let me be an example, y'all. It's not worth it. We really have nothing to gain. We're not going to change people's minds that is dead set on destroying what we got going on. And I'm fine with that. I'm not even going to continue to go back and forth with them and try to even have meaningful and intellectual conversations with them, because it just doesn't work. And they just have me fired up. And I don't need to get fired up about people with dogs with peanut heads that look like boxers talking about how hard it bite. I'm not going back and forth. It's a waste of time. Y'all don't rock with us. We don't rock with y'all. Exotic Boerboel family. You see what we producing. You see our goals. Y'all happy with your dogs? We're happy with ours. Do not go back and forth with these people because they got malicious. They will waste their time. And I ain't got time to waste. So let's see here. What does Marvin say? Even if you get a good breed puppy that's male, how does that make it not yours, just like a female puppy? Because that's the dog. You didn't produce it. It is your dog. Don't get it twisted. You own the dog, but you didn't produce the dog. Does that make sense? If you produce the dog, then you can say it's my dog, or you can put your name on that dog. So the first name of every dog should be the family name. For example, Exotic. All the dogs that come from our kennel or breeding family, I hate to use that word kennel because it's associated with wires and cages and concrete, and this ain't a kennel. Dogs coming from Exotic Boerboel breeding operation carry Exotic on the first name. It's mandated in your contract. Breeder has the right to affix the prefix Exotic Boerboels to your dog's paperwork because the dogs come from Exotic Boerboel family. So the female puppy, once she's bred and produces a litter of dogs, those dogs are Marvin's puppies. And then you can say Marvin XYZ, fill in the blank for the name. When you are using somebody else's male or using a male that was not produced by Marvin, you may own that dog. I just don't agree with building. You can't build it's hard to do that. But in certain situations, you can get a good male. It can be difficult. Here's the thing with puppies, why I don't like to go with puppies. Puppies can be elusive. So they go through so many changes, right? And it's nothing wrong with campaigning and championing somebody else's dog, especially if it's respected. You know, the dog has got a big following. You get lucky sometimes with a puppy. But it's rare. It's rare. You really have to do your homework with a puppy. So I like to go with adult dogs. I can look and see. I know what I'm going to. I got a reasonable expectation. I can watch the dog move around. That works better for me. I like to go with things that I know that's certain, because remember, you only have so many litters in your breeding career. Most people have 30 years to breed. And so you got 30 generations to produce. And I don't want to waste with taking a chance with a dog that it's hard to, I don't want to, I'm going to use Alpha as an example, because we had what happened with us with Ape. So I don't know if I told y'all the story of Ape. Remember Ape? My young stud dog. Ape was very dear to me. He helped me get through a very difficult time period in my life. When he reached maturity, one of the warmest days of the year, it was a very amateur mistake. What I took, I took Ape for a long run. First, I had my daughter with me. We're trying to make it to soccer practice. I took Ape. The distance was 3 miles. He successfully completed the 3 miles, but we was under time restraints. He had been conditioned to do much more than 3 miles. It's the first run of the year, and I didn't pay attention. I did pay attention to the dog, but it just was very amateur mistake that I made. Ran Ape to death. He had a heat stroke. So we lost Ape. We tried to replace Ape with a puppy, several puppies. Outlaw was one, and Alpha another. I've been a big fan of Alpha's dad, Kwame. Alpha turned out to be an outstanding dog, not an outstanding stud. So with that being said, it just made it hard. It made it hard. I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of money. I ain't gonna say wasted, but it cost a lot of time that I'm not gonna get back. All right, huh? Sorry. The dog man gotta get some rest. I'm getting old. 40. But no. Okay, let me address this though. I'm gonna keep it factual. So once your male produces puppies, then he can be what you throw out. Sorry for all the questions. It's all good. Once your male produces puppies, that can be what you throw out. Right. So once your male produces, those are your dogs. Once your female produces, those are your dogs. Okay. So let's get to these questions. So folks buying puppies for creating a kennel are looking at it wrong. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is consider that there are going to be unknown factors. Where is it? Hold on, family. You're going to get unknown factors. That's my bro coming in. Big tone, y'all. But I'm gonna address this. Hold on, family. Hold on. I'm coming right back, y'all. Let me open up the door. Is the door open? Hold on 1 second.
What's up, Boerboels? You all know Jordan Pittman, a humble leader of the best African Boerboel owners and a passionate dog enthusiast for 15 years now. He raises South African Boerboel pups into dogs beyond what most people expect a large breed would be. And if he can do it, so can you. And he is more than happy to share, help, and teach you about everything you need to know based on his awesome experience raising South African Boerboels. You can schedule consultations with him and ask him anything, and I mean anything, and become an awesome breeder. Learn everything that you can from our past experience, avoid making mistakes that have been made before, talk, listen, and learn, and vow to one day in the future share all that you have learned with a newcomer to the breed. If you are ready to be awesome, please reach him on these details.
Okay, we back. No, people that's buying puppies to create their own kennel are no. What I'm saying is this going to be some unknowns. It's some factors that you got to consider. And with me being experienced, I know that I want to know what I know. I want to go for what I know is for sure. So I'd rather go with a proven dog, I have raised several puppies. Let's get on back to the questions. So talking about, for example, and this is why I say that we're in. Hey, Jason said, "What up, Big Tom?"
Tell me about that. What's happening?
He said, "Big Tom got some pizza." Yeah, but so what I mean about, for example, I really was a big fan of Alpha's dad and his mom. They bred on Pinnacle Havoc, both the dad and the mom. Well, the mom was heavy line bred on Pinnacle Havoc. They is well known for producing beautiful dogs, right? And so what I didn't know about Alpha was there's a chance that he had a defect. I didn't know much about those dogs. I just know that those dogs was beautiful, muscular, looked like they could fit the bill. But the problem with Alpha was I never could really get him to go hard on the runs. It just was he just wasn't that kind of dog. And he was a beautiful dog, but he often overheated when it came time for breeding. And eventually we lost Alpha to a heat stroke. So he was a beautiful dog, a great protector, very good pet. Beautiful dog. I'll show you the pictures of him real quick. One of the best ones. I mean, this dog he was a hard worker, but he didn't have the endurance. And let me show y'all Alpha real quick. Bam. Look at that dog. Come on. It's hard. And that hurt. That really hurt when we lost Alpha, man. That really hurt. Look at this dog. Look at the rear end, the top line, the shoulders. But like I said, and I said again, Alpha was always breathing heavy. He sweated real heavy. And look around his paws, you'll see where, look at his front forelegs, you'll see that he was always wet there, no matter what. So, oops, let me see something. Give me a second here. So because of that, he turned out not being exactly the best dog for breeding. Beautiful dog. I miss him. Going this summer, we planning on getting back with his dad, and this time we're going to use an exotic female versus the more popular bloodlines. Appreciate y'all for spending time with me today. Exotic Boerboels overcome many obstacles this week to be here. Thank you for joining me. I want y'all to stay focused and remember always it's lessons, not losses. Don't let them get you down. Don't never let them see you rattled. You understand? I'm finally going to find peace, and I'm not going to allow haters to break my cool any longer. I think I'm worried about blowing a gasket. I get so mad sometimes, and I'm not going to continue to do that because I won't be here for y'all, and I don't want to crash my Benz into a bucket. So I appreciate y'all for joining me, getting ready to go probably work out some dogs. The sun is shining, and I want to make some excellent videos for y'all. I want to keep it fresh, and I don't want to waste no time. Is the sun still shining? No, the sun ain't shining. These lights confuse you sometimes.
Is the sun shining, Big Tom?
Nah, it's over.
So well, we're gonna do a nighttime run. Yeah, it's so good. We're gonna find some parking lot. We'll find us a good parking lot. Appreciate y'all though, y'all. Don't forget, do not quit. Do not stay focused, y'all. Give it your all. Pray for me, y'all. We're gonna be here next week. Have a blessed evening.
No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you got a deal run up. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam.